Keystone Motel, the original road trip with Greg episode. Is this going to be like Avatar The Last Airbender, where in the last season everybody got to go on a field trip with Zuko and came back a different person? Is Amethyst going to get a character development heavy road trip with Greg in an upcoming episode? Because I'd be totally up for that. Point being, Garnet, who is still feeling very hurt and violated by what Pearl did in the previous episode, is not speaking to Pearl. So when Greg comes by and wants to take Steven with him on a road trip to Keystone, the state of Keystone, which in our world would be Pennsylvania, to buy some car wash brushes from a shady guy on the down low, Garnet comes along. But Garnet is unusually quiet in general right now, and almost seems like she's having some sort of internal conflict. Because she is. Once they reach the motel in Keystone where they plan to stay, Garnet unfuses involuntarily into Ruby and Sapphire, and you can see that they've been having a little internal disagreement. Ruby is angry at Pearl and doesn't want to stop being angry. She just wants to let it keep bubbling up inside. Whereas Sapphire, being a forward thinker with literal foresight, sees a point in the future where things are resolved and they're friends with Pearl again and just wants to get to that point and doesn't care about the intermediary stuff. And Steven knows if they would just talk it out and acknowledge each other's feelings, things would be better, but they won't talk to each other. And it all culminates in a scene where Ruby goes a little overboard and Steven confronts her and Sapphire, and they come to the realization that they're making Steven feel like he's to blame, because even though that's completely nonsensical, he is a child, and the fact that there is nothing that he can do to remedy this situation was bound to dredge up some of those feelings in him. So they talk, and they come to terms, and they refuse into Garnet, and while they're still not ready to forgive Pearl, they're definitely on the right track, keeping in mind that Pearl definitely wants their forgiveness and is definitely trying to work for it. And I absolutely love this episode. It's so good. Like, not in the visceral, plot-heavy way that some episodes are really good, but it's just such a well-structured episode that makes such good use of everything that makes Steven Universe unique to address a familiar conflict, one that pops up on television series all the time, in an entirely new way that makes it much more relatable and much more digestible to people of all ages. Ruby and Sapphire's viewpoints are both viewpoints that are often shared by people in Garnet's situation. But because Garnet is a very unique character, one who is literally made up of two other characters, they are able to portray her as having both of those points of view simultaneously, and that's something that I've never seen done before. Not only that, but they're able to literally show her working out her internal conflict by showing the two characters that make her up working out their internal conflict. I have never seen this emotional dynamic handled in this way. And even now, having watched the episode multiple times, I'm enthralled by it every single time I rewatch it. Not only that, but this episode has some genuine cute moments and some genuine humorous moments too. There are little jokes thrown in there with Sapphire's future vision occasionally. Seeing the literal contrast between Ruby and Sapphire's hot and cold powers lent itself to some very interesting comedic possibilities that were still at the same time taken seriously. Ruby's outburst, while it probably wasn't meant to be, is absolutely adorable. Ruby angry is adorable. And then on top of all that, we get to see them interacting with each other on a friendly basis at the end. And they just might be one of the most adorable couples ever on television. Ever. Plus, world building and character development for Greg. We find out that he knows that Garnet's a fusion and has met Ruby and Sapphire before. That's something we didn't know. Overall, such a good episode. I think probably the strongest standalone episode of the friendship arc, as I like to call it, and an episode that I feel that every Steven Universe fan should see. But guys, what did you think of this episode? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.
I was frozen today.